Good morning. In this video, I want to talk about orders where customer cannot be found. Either they're not home, they're not responding to the door, and you have items that needs to be refrigerated and, as well as put away in the freezer. And the Walmart app says you need to return it back to store. I'll talk a little bit about experience as well as I'll challenge you, and I would like you to comment below what you think. When that came out a couple months back, I was in Idaho, and it said clearly, if customer not home, I need to return the item back to store. And I would, follow that instructions. I would send out a text message asking them to respond. Response rate was like only 10-15%. I would arrive to the door, I would knock before I unload, and there was no answers about half the time. And I was returning those orders, and I was actually taking good tip orders. So first of all, I was losing in the tip. Second, I would get as soon as I'm starting the next delivery or start heading back to Walmart, I would get a response from a customer when they get a cancellation notice saying, "Hey, what's up? I'm home," or "My kid is home," or whatever the situation is. Then you take it back, then you spend at least 10, if not half an hour on the phone with customer service. End of the day, did I make money? I lost money. I lost drop times. I lost tips. And what I got in return? $250 for taking it back to the store. So that's all I want to challenge you. So here's something I want you to think about. You are the customer. You're scheduling a pickup from 8 to 9 o'clock. You show up at the customer's house at 8 o'clock, like it says. But at 8 o'clock, right now, some place schools already started, some place schools will be starting, and she just took the kids to school. She only doing a 10-minute run. And guess what? She's on the phone, or whatever, kids are screaming, whatever it is, she's not able to respond to your phone, to your message, to your phone call. You give her 2 minutes, she didn't show up, she didn't respond, return to store, you head out. But maybe the order that she placed was actually the plan for her morning, for cooking, or whatever the situation was. Maybe there was a ladies get together, moms get together, whatever it was, and you just ruined it right there. Just think about you being that customer. How satisfied would you actually be with the driver taking it to the store, back to the store? So, something that I realized is, if a customer scheduled from 8 to 9 o'clock for the delivery to arrive, and you're dropping it off at 8 o'clock, hey, just send them a message. I'm on my way. If they're not available to pick up an order, they will respond to you and let you know to take a store. The rest of the customers, they're just ignoring your text messages. And if you try to call them, you're showing up as a spam, so they're definitely not going to answer your phone. So what do you suspect? Now, when I stopped taking orders back to store, I stopped losing majority of my tips. I would actually do about 2 to 3 returns a day. I would also, was in a point when I started sending the messages out, actually I had a customer where they called the cops on me because they thought I'm trying to figure out when they're not home so I can rob them. So, instead of putting yourself into various different situations, just don't. Just send them a message, you're on your way, your ETA is whatever, and I'll drop off the order. Whatever you want to put it in your message. Just let them know you're heading with their order. If there's a problem, they'll let you know. Now, some people ignore the messages, and it's on them. You did let them know that you're on the way. And they just ignored it. So if they ignored it, on them. Hey, I'll tell you this. A chance of a customer not being home and you are delivering to the window is a small. And when they're not home, most of the time they still planned you to drop off the order. Some of the customers I spoke when this came on, they were really unhappy because they were planning not to be home at that particular time, but they were planning as soon as the order drops off, they'll quickly run home, put it away, and go back to work or go back to doing what they're doing. Hey, people cannot just sit and wait for you to drop off the order. Some don't do anything, great, but there's some people that's so busy they just can't. So they adjust based on when you send them that message. I'm on my way. I'll be there in 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 9 minutes. And when you adjust it, sometime you'll see them arriving with you. Sometime as you're pulling away, they'll arrive. Sometime later on. Sometimes they'll already be home because they were like at the neighbors. So, my simple question to you: if you're a busy person, and we're not talking about busy, there's people that are really busy. They're shuffling 3, 4, 5 kids, married, have a spouse. Spouse brings the money in, and the woman takes care of the home, takes care of everything else, runs the errands throughout the day because her husband is actually trying to bring in a buck to take care of all the family needs. So just put yourself in that woman's position. She placed an order. She doesn't know how they're gonna turn out. Maybe she needs to do a quick run to the dollar store or wherever. She knows the order's coming because she placed that order. Walmart notifies her that the order is on her way. So if there's a problem, don't you think she would actually try to contact you and let you know there's a problem? Do not drop off the order. Or she would contact her neighbor or someone else and say, hey, can you go to my house and take in the order for me? The only reason that person wouldn't do nothing about that order if they did not care. So why go through all this? The simple question to you again: why go through all this? Why put yourself through all this when customer is suspecting that order, when they're counting on that order to arrive and it didn't show up? Would you be happy when an order didn't show up because you were running an errand? You just went down the street to pick up something at a gas station. That's all I have to you guys. So, again, is Walmart right about us taking the order back to store? No, they're not right. They should have something sending to the customer saying, hey, your order is being sent out and will be roughly delivered between 9 and 10 o'clock. If you're not able to attend that order, please let us know so we can reschedule your delivery. Simple. Just right before, if they do a drop at 7:20, so they should send out the message at 7. Maybe do another follow-up at 7:40, just right before we leave, before we get loaded, or just right at the time we get loaded. And if for whatever reason customer reschedules, we immediately get notified. Well, we should not be the ones trying to convince a customer that they need to be home. Customer planned it out. They know what they're doing. And those that don't, it's on them. I would really want to know in the comment section, what do you think? And don't forget to like and subscribe. Be blessed.